My name is Kristen Anderson, and I am employed as a professional bartender. My beloved husband, Douglas, holds a position at a nearby financial institution and consistently demonstrates his deep affection and respect for both me and my extended family. After years of dedication and dreaming, Douglas and I have finally realized our long-held ambition of establishing our very own sanctuary of relaxation. The moment we crossed the threshold of what was to become our new residence, we were overwhelmed with a sense of indescribable elation. We had dedicated more than 5 years to diligently saving money, meticulously planning every detail, and tirelessly working towards this significant milestone. Our new home boasts an expansive kitchen, a generously sized living room, and a stunning sunbed room that opens up to a vast backyard that appears to stretch endlessly. It was designed to be a haven brimming with laughter, cherished memories, and vibrant life. We envisioned it as a casual gathering spot for friends and family, as well as a place where we could relish our time together as a couple, creating new and joyful memories. Douglas and I have chosen not to have children and do not foresee changing this decision in the future. Thus, our home is entirely our own, and within its walls, we have the freedom to shape our lives exactly as we wish. Both of us have a passion for hosting and entertaining guests. I was drawn to bartending because it gives me the opportunity to bring joy to others through the drinks I craft and the atmosphere I help create. There is a unique pleasure in uniting people, whether it's through crafting the perfect cocktail or preparing a delicious meal. It seemed a natural evolution for me to take on the role of organizing family gatherings. 2 weeks after settling into our home, we decided it was time to introduce our family to this new space that we had so lovingly prepared. By this time, all the moving boxes had been unpacked, every piece of furniture had found its perfect place, and the house truly felt like a home. The first guest to arrive was my mother, whose eyes sparkled with joy as she entered the foyer. "Oh, how lovely!" she exclaimed, her voice filled with wonder as she slowly took in the surroundings. "You two really did well to secure such a beautiful home," she remarked, her tone imbued with parental pride, reflecting on the years of effort we had put in. Next to arrive were my brother Nathan and his family. His children, Samantha and Jeff, excitedly ran around the house, their laughter filling the air. "Auntie's house is like a castle," Samantha declared joyfully as she gazed through the glass-enclosed sunroom that led to the sprawling backyard. However, the reactions from Nathan and his wife Tiffany were mixed, with traces of envy apparent on their faces. "Isn't it too big?" Tiffany remarked as she surveyed the kitchen, her comment laced with a subtle hint of sarcasm. "And you don't even have kids," she added. Nathan, in particular, looked less than impressed when he viewed the elaborate home bar area we had set up. "Do you really need such a luxurious space?" Despite feeling a bit stung by their reactions, I felt reassured when Douglas gently squeezed my hand. After we concluded the tour of the house and everyone had gathered in the living room, Nathan suddenly proposed. "Hey, let's host Samantha's birthday party here next month. There's plenty of room." Tiffany quickly supported the idea. "Yes, the kids will have loads of space to run around here," she agreed. My mother nodded in approval, her face alight with happiness. "It will be a wonderful place for family gatherings." At that moment, I felt a surge of anticipation and excitement about my family's expectations for the new home. Douglas, standing contentedly by my side, suggested, "Let's toast," prompting my mother to raise her glass. "To Kristen and Douglas's new home, and to the many wonderful memories that will be created here," she declared. As our glasses clinked together, I scanned the room, taking in the proud smile on my mother's face, the complex yet envious expressions on Nathan and Tiffany's faces, and the innocent joy radiating from the children. As the evening drew to a close and the family departed, Douglas and I remained seated on the deck in our backyard, reflecting on the day. Everyone seemed happy, I noted, a smile crossing my face. "Yes," Douglas agreed. "This will definitely become a cherished gathering place for everyone." Little did we know at that moment, this was just the beginning of a rift that would eventually surface within our family. The first major event to test our unity was my niece Samantha's birthday party. Samantha was turning 6, and her brother Jeff was 4. Determined to make their birthdays unforgettable, I spared no effort in preparing. The house was adorned with a princess theme, a custom cake was ordered, and a professional face painter was brought in to add to the festivities. Watching the children's eyes light up with excitement made every bit of effort worthwhile. Even Nathan and Tiffany, who had initially seemed ambivalent when first seeing our new home, were impressed by my hospitality and thoroughly enjoyed the time spent with the family. As I observed the smiles spreading across my mother's and brother's faces, I felt a deep sense of fulfillment. However, this event would set a precedent for future gatherings. The next major celebration was the Christmas party. On the morning of the event, I rose early, having prepared the turkey the night before, and drawing upon my bartending skills, also concocted a special batch of hot wine. The Christmas tree, which Douglas and I had decorated the previous night, sparkled magnificently in the morning light, reflecting off the ornaments and casting a festive glow throughout the house. As family members arrived one after another, the house buzzed with lively voices and laughter. Although I was busy tending to the needs of our guests, I reveled in the joyous atmosphere and the pleasure of hosting our loved ones. "Hey, this sauce is really delicious," Tiffany exclaimed with admiration. "Could you share the recipe with me?" "Of course," I replied with pleasure. "Actually, there's a secret ingredient." We blossomed into a conversation about cooking, and the kitchen was filled with laughter. At dinner time, the whole family gathered around the large dining table. As I carved the turkey, I looked at each family member's face. "Let's toast." I raised my glass. "To a wonderful Christmas with the family." Being able to combine my experience as a bartender and my love for my family to offer my hospitality was truly a joyous thing. Late at night, after the last of the family had left, Douglas and I sat on the sofa, staring into the fireplace fire. "Did you enjoy it?" Douglas asked. "Very much," I answered with a genuine smile. Everyone had fun, and I was really happy. This is the family time I wanted. However, an unexpected development was waiting for us. One night, Nathan and Tiffany visited without warning. They had left their children with their grandparents. "We need to talk." Nathan started as he sat on the living room sofa. "Samantha got into a private elementary school. But," he continued, choosing his words carefully, "the tuition is a bit of a stretch." I could already see where this was going. Tiffany looked at me with expectant eyes. "You guys can afford it, right?" Tiffany said softly. "And you don't have kids." That comment made me feel irritated inside, but I kept a calm exterior. "And Jeff will be starting in 2 years." Nathan tried to add. "Wait a second." I interrupted him. "Are you asking for temporary help, or are you seeking long-term support?" "You guys can afford it." Nathan's voice grew slightly louder. "We're desperate for our kids. The house mortgage, living expenses." "I understand." "Give me a moment to think," I said. After Nathan and Tiffany left that evening, I stood in the kitchen for a long time. The moonlight illuminated the garden outside the window, and the conversation kept swirling in my head. "Hey," Douglas's voice came from behind. "Are you okay?" "I don't know," I answered honestly. Their tone and attitude, as if it were a given. I paused, struggling for words, and Douglas silently offered me a cup of coffee. Douglas slowly nodded. "Yes, but," he paused, choosing his words. "When you think about the kids, it's hard to do nothing." Those words moved something inside me. Eventually, we decided to help out for the sake of the children. And since that Christmas party, our home had become the default gathering place for the family. Easter, Thanksgiving, Independence Day on July 4th, and everyone's birthdays. A glance at the calendar showed our house booked for event after event. Initially, I truly enjoyed it. Remembering the glowing faces of the children at Samantha's birthday party, I got creative with decorations. Remembering how happy my mother was at the Christmas party, I sought out even better ingredients. I applied my bartending experience to crafting cocktails and cooked up seasonal dishes with creativity. For Spring's Easter, I planned an egg hunt in the backyard, and for Thanksgiving, I prepared numerous side dishes with my own twist in addition to the traditional turkey. However, gradually the burden became heavier. Each party required hundreds of dollars in expenses for food, drinks, decorations, and sometimes even rental equipment, all on us. While there were offers of help from family, these were limited to simple tasks on the day, with no discussions of sharing the costs. Especially tough was the cleanup. After a large gathering, the house looked like a battlefield. Initially, Douglas and I cleaned up ourselves. But as we both accumulated fatigue from weekday chores and weekend party preparations, we eventually had to hire a cleaning service. As the costs accumulated, they began to strain our household finances. By the end of the year, Douglas and my life had become completely dominated by party preparations and cleanup. Friday nights were spent shopping and preparing, Saturdays from morning to late night were for managing the party, and Sundays were for cleaning up. Even weekdays were consumed with planning and preparing for the next event. Gradually, we lost the time we once had to watch movies together or enjoy leisurely weekend breakfasts. Then everything changed as Samantha's 7th birthday approached. One evening, Nathan called. "Count on us for this year too. Samantha has been talking about last year's party nonstop." His words filled me with deep frustration. It was as if hosting was taken for granted, without any consideration for our time, effort, or financial burden. After hanging up, I closed my eyes wearily. Seeing this, Douglas quietly sat down next to me on the sofa and handed me a coffee. "Another party request?" he asked. "Yes," I answered with a sigh. "It's Samantha's birthday. I need to start shopping this weekend if I think about the preparations." "Your cookbook," Douglas said, looking at the bookshelf. "It's gathering quite a bit of dust." Surprised, I looked at the bookshelf. Indeed, the cookbooks I cherished were now covered in dust. "Lately, I haven't even had time to read my cookbooks," I remarked. That casual comment seemed to symbolize our situation. The parties, started for the sake of family, had gradually begun to erode our lives. "By the way," Douglas continued, "what about the trip we planned last summer?" "Oh, that," I faltered for words. We had made plans, but party after party came up, and the trip had faded from discussion. Douglas looked out the window and said quietly, "Honey, this can't go on. Where has our life gone?" His words hit me like a stone thrown into a frozen lake, resonating deeply within my heart. I couldn't even remember when our last dinner alone on a weekend was. The mornings spent leisurely drinking coffee on holidays had become a distant memory. "You and I," Douglas said gently, taking my hand. "What dreams did we talk about when we bought this house?" Tears welled up in my eyes. Creating dishes and cocktails together in this kitchen, building a herb garden in the backyard, hosting casual brunch parties with friends on weekends. Those days we spent dreaming together vividly returned to my mind. "Kristen, I've realized," Douglas continued, "at recent family gatherings I haven't seen you truly smile. You smile to please everyone, but your genuine, radiant smile has disappeared." His words quietly but firmly echoed inside me. "We need to change," I murmured softly. "Yes," Douglas nodded. "But you don't have to bear it alone. Let's think about this together. Let's take back our life." Indeed, while our dream was to provide a gathering place for family, it was never meant to take over our entire lives. And so, for this upcoming birthday party for Samantha, I decided not to prepare anything. Without notifying the family in advance, I awaited the day. On the day of the party, family members began to arrive one by one. Entering a house without festive decorations, a custom cake, or any entertainment, Their expressions gradually changed from confusion to anger. "Hey, what's going on?" Nathan demanded harshly. "There's no preparation at all," I answered calmly. "This past year, we've hosted many parties at our home. It's wonderful to gather, but to be honest, it has become a bit too much for us," I explained. A moment of silence followed. "What? What do you mean?" Nathan asked, frowning. "All the preparation and cleanup, including the financial burden, falls on us." "That includes helping with Samantha and Jeff's education costs," I added. "But you guys can afford it," Tiffany interjected. "And you don't have kids." At those words, something inside me broke. "Excuse me, but just because we don't have children, does that mean our time and effort are worthless?" An awkward silence followed. "Kristen..." It's not that my mother began, but I cut her off. "But you all expected it as if it were a given, didn't you? And the financial help for education costs, I'm planning to end it this month." "What?" Nathan's voice trembled with anger. "Think of the children. Children are important, but so is our life. We can't continue to bear all the burdens," I replied. Nathan exploded in anger, accusing me of being selfish and cold. Tiffany and Samantha started crying. Kristen, my mother, said sternly, "What do you mean by welcoming the family without any preparations? Do you realize what you've done by making Samantha cry?" I took a deep breath. "Yes, I understand." "But do you understand, Mother? Do you realize how much burden we've been forced to bear?" "A burden." My mother's voice grew even louder. "Is it so hard to open your home for the family? You have plenty of room, and you don't even have children." "That's exactly it," I interrupted. "Why does not having children mean we have to provide unlimited time and money and carry all the expenses?" Douglas added quietly, yet firmly, "We would like a refund for the full amount." "What?" My mother stood up, shocked. Nathan leaned forward aggressively from his chair. "You must be joking. Is it really a joke?" I pulled a piece of paper from my purse. "This is a list of family event expenses from last year. Cleaning fees, meal costs, decorations, everything's recorded. It totals over $12,000. My mother and Nathan were speechless. Tiffany turned her face away. "We've put our time as a couple and even our vacation plans on hold for all of this. But we've reached our limit." A long silence ensued. Gradually, my mother's expression began to change. $12,000, she murmured quietly. "That much." "Mother," I continued calmly, "remember how it was when Grandma was alive? How did we handle family events?" My mother looked down, pondering. "Well, it was by turns. Sometimes we even went out to eat. So why is it only on us now?" My mother sighed deeply. Her expression slowly lost its anger. Then she did something unexpected. "Let's stop here for today," she said quietly but firmly. "Kristen has a point. We've been relying too much on them. Let's calm down and talk about this later." Her words changed the atmosphere of the room. While Nathan's anger did not subside, my mother's intervention prevented a complete breakdown. However, this incident was the beginning of a necessary change. Over the next few days, the family's relationship hung in a delicate balance. At my mother's suggestion, a family meeting was later scheduled, with her taking the role of moderator. "First, I want to apologize to Kristen and Douglas," my mother began. "We've taken their kindness for granted." Nathan still looked sullen but listened silently. "Going forward, we will rotate responsibilities for family events. If we can't manage, using restaurants or rental venues is also a good option. About the expenses so far. You'll refund them, right?" I asked my mother. "That is. Please refund $500 each month," I suggested. "Okay." My mother agreed reluctantly. I pressed Nathan as well. "It'll take time, but I'll pay it back." These words led to more realistic discussions. Repayment plans, a rotation system for future family events, and rules for sharing costs. The discussion lasted over 3 hours. Although emotions ran high at times, new rules were eventually established. Family events will be rotated among us. Expenses for significant events will be shared by the family. Respect each family's situation and limits. The first birthday party for Samantha under the new system took a different form than before. It was smaller in scale, but every family member participated in the preparations, contributing within their capabilities. My mother handled the decorations, and Tiffany prepared homemade cupcakes. As usual, I was in charge of the drinks and some simple finger foods. Nathan, though still showing some dissatisfaction, took on the responsibility of setting up and cleaning up the venue. Initially, the children were puzzled by the less extravagant party, but they quickly began to enjoy themselves within the warm atmosphere created by everyone's collaborative efforts. "Hey, Auntie." Samantha came up to me during the party. "Today's party is really fun. It's kind of nice doing things together." Her words unexpectedly warmed my heart. A child's genuine feedback seemed to affirm that our decision was right. That evening, after the party had ended, I sat down on the sofa. I was tired, but it was a good kind of tired, different from before. It was during these times of change within our family that an unexpected visit came one Saturday afternoon from Samantha herself. "Hey, Auntie," she said as we both munched on cookies we'd made together. "Dad has been crying a lot lately." Her words stopped me in my tracks. "Why?" I asked gently. "Mom and Dad often talk about money. I sometimes hear them," she continued with a slightly sad look. "But Dad says, let's all try our best. I can see that he's really trying." At that moment, I felt a tightness in my chest. Certainly, the abrupt end to financial support must have impacted Nathan's family greatly. Yet, they were looking forward and trying hard, a fact even their children could see. Following this conversation, I discussed with Douglas, and we decided to invite Nathan and Tiffany for dinner. This time, not for a fancy dinner party, but for a sincere family discussion. At the dinner table, Nathan opened up for the first time. "Honestly, I was really angry at first. When the support was suddenly cut off, I didn't know what to do," he said, swirling his wine glass. "But I realized that we had been relying too much on you guys. For our children's sake, we ourselves need to change." Tiffany, teary-eyed, shared her own update. "I found a part-time job. It's not much, but I want to gradually get to a place where we can stand on our own." That night, during our lengthy discussion, we found new bonds as a family. It wasn't just about money. We were able to deeply share our dreams, fears, and hopes. Douglas made a new suggestion about the children's education costs. Instead of giving a set amount every month, how about we discuss and help each other out on special occasions or when truly needed? Nathan thought for a moment and then slowly nodded. "That would be better. That way, we don't depend too much on you, and we can teach the children the true meaning of family support." Through these conversations, roles and responsibilities naturally took shape among our family members. We were no longer bound by weekly events, finding time to start new hobbies and activities. Certainly, the grand parties of the past had diminished, but in their place, we found true family time. Samantha and Jeff started coming over to our house more frequently, not for large parties, but simply because they wanted to spend time with their aunt and uncle. "Hey, Auntie," Samantha said recently while baking cookies. "I enjoyed the big parties before, but making cookies like this together is fun too." Her straightforward words made me realize anew that what truly matters is not the scale or the spectacle, but the quality of time spent together. Now, our family gatherings are filled with genuine joy.